And as you can see, we're having a great time here at Redefining here at the Qlik booth. Julie, fantastic to be back again in person.
I know, it's so great to see you again.
And you too. Thank you so much indeed. Honestly, it's been really, really active around here, which has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And what's kind of your biggest takeaway from what we've seen so far at reInvent versus last year? Like AI, for example, would be a great place to start, perhaps.
Yes, AI, as well as my area.
Oh yes,
right?
definitely. We're coming on to that.
Everyone
definitely.
is talking about the need for ESG metrics, better management of data.
Definitely.
How can businesses actually be more sustainable? And that's obviously a super exciting topic for me and very important as well.
Oh, I love that as well. I think you're absolutely right. I think the literacy and the awareness around ESG and the wanting to move beyond not just talking about it, transparency, but proper measurement that you can make proper comparisons around. So for conscious consumers, but for ecosystem partners too. And it starts with the data, doesn't it? It really is the biggest differentiator. So again, in this news, let's kind of bring to the fore the announcement you made on day one, and it's Power partnership with AWS, but in particular embedding sustainability by design and using the Power data for good. So let's start with that, Julie, if we can.
Absolutely. So as we think about sustainability, we think about it in three pillars, really.
Yes.
One, how can we help external organizations actually drive their mission forward, right? How can we really all get to where we want to be together? Two, how do we run a sustainable business, right? With regards to our employees, our environmental footprint, our social programs such as diversity, equity, and inclusion, our governance, all of that. How can we be a sustainable organization, obviously as a supplier to our customers? And then the third pillar, which we're really excited about, is how can we help our customers actually move the needle on their ESG initiatives?
Absolutely.
Because as you said, it's all about data. And there are lots of different kind of conversations happening about reports and EU regulations and new regulations in California and all of that. And everybody's trying to get their arms around it. And there are all kinds of solutions that are popping up to say, hey, we can build you an ESG report. But that's not the end game, right? We know that you need to gather this data, you need to understand it, you need to set targets, but then you need to take that information, apply it to your business and your business processes to make better decisions going forward.
Absolutely.
And that's what we do every day. So it's a super exciting time for us. Super excited to be partnering with AWS on it. And really driving sustainability forward on all three of those pillars.
I love that. Fantastic. So many examples here of people wanting to move beyond talking about ESG to true action, as you said, really looking at measurement in a more regular way as well. It's not the once a year ESG report, it's regular, bringing all dialogue together and using technology to drive this change. So I wonder if you could explain, we've got some amazing demos going on behind us. I'm going to look at the one with Bedrock shortly too, but how are you driving the data differentiator with what you're doing now? I'd love to unpack that, because again, I think there's so much you said, so much talk about what's happening, and it can cause confusion for people. This is really cutting through that and it's delivering on it. So I'd love to make that kind of crystal for the audience, really.
Yeah, certainly. So let me try.
Yes, brilliant.
To make it a little bit clearer. I'm not sure about crystal, but we'll try to get there. So it obviously plays to the kind of whole conversation around AI as well. So what we're finding within the organizations that we speak to about ESG and sustainability reporting, even diversity, equity, inclusion, governance, all of these different pieces, is that these organizations, even the largest organizations, have sustainability teams, somewhere of a dozen to maybe 25, 30 people for a very large organization, and then they have their organization that's managing their business and making decisions, every day.
Absolutely.
And the two are in like separate silos, if you will.
Indeed.
Right?
Yep.
And the sustainability team, even today, is running around with spreadsheets.
Exactly.
They're doing data extracts out of their various source systems, cobbling that together with environmental data, let's say, to calculate a carbon footprint.
Indeed.
Creating that report, and then by the time they finish that report, it's time to start it again for the next year.
Exactly.
And what we're talking to these organizations about is that you got to break down that silos. It's good. You obviously have to satisfy the reporting needs according to the new regulations and all of that.
Of course.
But more importantly, you want to take that data and unleash it to the rest of your organization.
Exactly, absolutely.
Right?
Empowerment, absolutely.
Yeah, not just keep it locked inside the 25 individual experts on sustainability within your organization, but to actually free it to the rest of the organization so you can make better decisions going forward.
Precisely.
And only business intelligence, only tools like Qlik can do that.
Yes.
And secondly, only when you have your information actually in a platform like Qlik can you even begin to think about using AI to help you make those decisions that you want to make going forward, right? You can't run AI natural language processing models on top of a cool compilation of spreadsheets,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
You need a platform with your data there that's been verified, it's accurate, it's trustworthy, and then you can begin to use these really cool new capabilities to help you make the decisions for the future. And that's really what we're talking to organizations about. Get out of this world of spreadsheets.
Exactly.
And bring in the whole organization to be part of the solution.
I couldn't agree more. And I think, again, when we have the AI conversation, it has to be brought back to data every single time. I mean, if you look at, for example, sometimes you see the news, ChatGPT, and people think it's the only kind of flavor of generative AI out there, wouldn't you, for example? And there's so many different variants. It's kind of like a recipe, isn't there? Different flavors suited for different purposes. So we have to cut through that noise. At the end of the day, it's the right data pairing with the right LLM model that makes a difference. So cutting it back to this, getting those foundations right. Because again, it doesn't matter if it's ESG or inclusion or other different areas, we have problems around complexity, visibility, and integration. And I think what you're doing is literally hitting those on the head, plus governance, which absolutely is a key area too. And in ESG, again, real kind of acceleration in governance and geographical differences too. So again, supporting that process, absolutely critical as well.
Exactly. And get out of this world where everybody is actually just running around trying to create this magical, mythical PDF document that gets posted on your website. For the data never to be seen or used again. Right?
Exactly.
And so that's why kind of like our platform can help organizations actually, again, one, satisfy the needed report, right? It is needed to make obviously kind of your information known and to satisfy kind of your customers, the regulations, all of that, right? But at the same time, unlock that data so you make better decisions.
Absolutely.
And you can't do that without a platform that serves all of your different data and serves all of your different types of users.
Absolutely. It breaks down those silos. I think also supporting it with, for example, say structural change. So I've seen, for example, Director of Sustainability, like reporting the head of CTO, for example. So you've got that alignment across regions and disciplines and things. So many things that can be done to support that. Of course, empowered by education. And again, it gets such a focus on data literacy, which I think is really important too. So again, it goes back to getting those foundations right, supporting upskilling all types of roles too. So I love the work you do there. And another thing you were thinking about, just as you were talking there, is the practicalities of how you do that. The marketing app that you've put together and kind of like really using at events like this. And we saw that it, Qlik just last year, measuring things around carbon footprint. And other areas, again, you can really get granular and make the best decisions on the ground, manage events in the right way. So again, that's a really tangible example what people can use right now that's supporting us too.
Exactly. And then like the marketing events app, for example, you have people from across like our company as an example, running different events in different countries. And sometimes they don't know kind of what maybe the current standards or ideas or best practices might be. So when you centralize that information and everyone has access to it, the events person in France can learn about what the events person actually in Singapore did and learn from that and actually apply it to their event, right? So like this whole environment of sharing and collaboration and just kind of leveraging each other's skill sets and passion couldn't take place without a data platform like that.
Exactly. Real empowerment in action. I love that. And maybe a couple of things to end off as well. Again, because I love to share kind of how this is being used and what support's in place already. And you mentioned there about kind of coming together. I mean, it really is an ecosystem, isn't it? That's how we need to make change in this area with collaboration. And I think what you've done with organisations like the UN for a number of years, we spoke on a panel about that every month back, didn't we? But also organisations like WHO as well. This is tangible action in this area. And it really is with that data empowerment that the relationships you're building as well. This is key. It's people and technology and partnership, isn't it? But perhaps we could share a couple of examples there about how Qlik is supporting this right now, and then kind of share a little bit more about how to get involved and find out more. I think would be brilliant.
Yeah, certainly. And one of my favorite stories is actually a kind of a meeting that we hosted because of kind of the creation of this data sharing platform.
Absolutely.
We brought together the sustainability team, which have been calculating kind of all of the ESG metrics and calculating and publishing a report annually. We brought together the IT organization within this company to actually understand the data flows and where's the data coming from.
Love that.
And then we brought together, in this particular case, the travel department, who was looking at kind of the travel data and how that applied to the environmental footprint of the organization. These three teams had not met to have a conversation on ESG until we kind of fostered that collaboration. And the most exciting outcome of that meeting for me was that yes, we started the sharing of data between the sustainability team and the travel department, but there was a gentleman on the IT team that understand kind of the data, the underlying data infrastructure housed within their ERP system. He understood that if he learned in this meeting that if he changed a couple of flags in that ERP system, he could make both the job of the sustainability team as well as the travel department infinitely easier.
Brilliant. Shared value.
So all of a sudden, this gentleman that was a programmer on the ERP systems team learned that he could be part of the climate solution.
I love that.
The buy-in. Everybody can be part of the solution. It's not just the role of a small team. It's not just the role of the environmental scientists and the folks that are really knowledgeable about what needs to be done, but everybody can play a role. And data can unlock that knowledge that you can be a part of the solution. And I love when people actually come and the light bulb goes off and says, hey, I can help solve climate change.
I love that. I love it. It's so powerful. Because I always say everybody has agency to make a difference. That's such an example of that.
Exactly.
And we're starting to see organisations even reformat CVs to show how every role can contribute. And it's almost like every cog of the wheel, isn't it? We need all those different things.
Right.
But making that visible, and I think the community is a fantastic example of that as well. Because I spent some time with some of your ambassadors, particularly around the education side of things. And oh my gosh, I love it when people say, I fed back on this, I had an idea. And then 2 or 3 months later, it's there. It's been listened to. And if it couldn't, I was told why it couldn't. And that is, again, having agency to make change as part of the community. That's what it's all about. And this is shared value. It's not ESG over here, business innovation over here. We come together for both of them, and amazing results can happen. So I love that. I'm getting goosebumps because I love that so much.
And they will only fuel more and more positive impact. Right? If people feel like they can be a part of the solution, they're only going to want to be more a part of that solution. Versus kind of, in some ways, people I think are feeling a little bit distant from kind of what can I do? How can I, should I recycle? They think that this is all they can do. But no, every person within an organization can play a role in this. And that's what data can unlock for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Julie, I can speak to you all day. I know we have to go. We're kind of hogging the stage here, but honestly, thank you, Julie, for so much spending time. And for everyone watching and listening too, we'll be sharing more details about all the different projects involved, ways to get involved, some skills learning, and also new STEAM scholarship as well. So we'll share details about that. So yeah, lots happening here. And again, we can all make a difference and come together to create a contagion of positive change. So thank you so much, and more from us coming from Reinvent very soon.
And thank you for being such a great champion.
Oh, thank you so much. Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care.